Welcome to Time to Win Podcast. It's not just a podcast. It's the official personal growth locker room of life where champions just like you gather to cultivate their courage, create a life-changing game plan of success, and celebrate their wins. I'm RJ Jackson, your personal growth coach and host, and I'm committed to seeing you win. As a professional speaker and growth coach for over 3 decades, I've worked with and inspired thousands to grow their greatness and transform their setbacks into a comeback. And now it's your turn. It's time to win. So if you're ready, grab something to take notes with. We're about to dive in. Let's go fight win. Welcome to Time to Win Podcast. I am your honored host, RJ Jackson. Really excited about the opportunity to have you join us today. And let me just say, grateful as well. So today's episode is brought to you by JT Sands and Associates Consulting Firm. At JT Sands, they believe that a life lived right is a legacy left. You can connect with them at jtsands.com. That's jtsands.com. Well, here we are. It's a new month, and oh my goodness, we have a new theme for you, but I gotta keep it real, my friend. We have the same life-giving mission, which is to provide you with information that causes transformation. We're transforming professional women over 40 from weary to winning. It's time out for being worn out, emotionally exhausted, alone and afraid, restless, running all over the place, all while yearning for life to be better. It's time to win, my friend, and this is your season. This is a great time to create and discover a new vision and a new version of you. And here's the beautiful part about it. You don't have to do it alone because you belong here. And we're excited to team up with you so we can go, fight, win. And let me tell you, we may have to struggle a little bit, but we get to struggle together. Because the struggle really is, it's real. That's not a saying, that's the truth. But the beauty is we can lock arms and win together. Now, throughout this month, we're going to dive in deep into the pivotal theme and topics of boundaries, balance, and belonging. Now, these are all designed to help you navigate the challenges and obstacles that life presents. And we all know challenges and obstacles are always present. But don't fear, my friend. We have solutions for you for the everyday challenges you face. We're going to address the common questions you ask yourself as you prepare to take on the world with feelings of doubt, rejection, unworthiness, imposter syndrome, and fear. Here on Time to Win Podcast, we're committed to providing you with practical and insightful solutions to help you achieve work-life balance, set boundaries, and not just any old kind of boundaries, healthy boundaries in your relationships, and cultivate a sense of belonging in your personal and professional life. So go ahead, grab your pen and paper. As a matter of fact, call a friend right now and invite them to listen in and join us on this journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. They'll thank you later, and I want to say thank you now. As your personal growth coach, strategist, and speaker for your next event, I'm committed to seeing you win. So if you're ready, let's take the first steps towards winning in life. Let's do this. Today I want to have dialogue and conversation with you about the art of boundaries. The art of boundaries. What are we talking about when we talk about the art of boundaries? The art of boundaries refers to the skills and practicing of setting limits, putting up the stop sign, letting the light go from green to red, saying, no, I will not tolerate that. You will not treat me that way. You will not talk to me that way. It's defining personal values, your belief systems, who you are at the very core of you and how you expect people to treat you based on your values and beliefs. Now, it's not just about having those values and beliefs. It's about being able to effectively communicate that with other people. As my friend John Bentley would say, in loving kindness. Well, of course, as the Bible says too, right? The art of boundaries really is a critical component of self-care. You know, sometimes we think self-care is taking a 3-hour bath or exercising. That's a part of it, but that's at the very bottom of it. Self-care, it's really about defining who you are and living within those boundaries. The art of boundaries is about maintaining healthy relationships. It really helps to protect you from harm, and it promotes respect, trust, understanding, and it creates fun between you and your circle of influence and the people who are important in your life. So let's talk about why boundaries are important. Boundaries are important because they help create a sense of safety and security in a relationship. They allow you to feel valued and respected. And who doesn't want to feel valued and respected? When we don't have boundaries, we find ourselves overwhelmed, frustrated, and resentful, which often leads to strained relationships that drain you emotionally, physically, and mentally. It also leads to being emotionally exhausted, which is a primary component of being weary. Setting clear boundaries, on the other hand, helps us to create a sense of predictability and stability in our relationships, which can improve our communication and reduce conflict. Well, RJ, that all sounds good, but I just let people run all over me, and I can't figure out why. Well, my friend, first and foremost, let me help you. You're not alone. At some point or another, we all submit to the demands of other people, putting ourselves in last place. Well, today, as we journey from last place to first place, I want you to know it's challenging to set boundaries. And let me tell you why. We as women often have a hard time setting boundaries because we have a tendency to prioritize the needs of others over our own. And this causes us to feel shame and guilt. And when we start living under shame and guilt, especially shame, we forget our name, we forget our worth, we forget our value. And then because we forgot, we portray to other people who we are not. And that's how they start treating us. In addition to that, we start believing that setting boundaries is selfish and unkind. And because we feel it's selfish, we are on a mission to help everyone else around us be happy. Now, let's pause for the cause for a moment. Let me just say that again. We start believing that setting boundaries is selfish. And as a result, we start journeying on this mission to make sure that everyone else around us is happy. Does that make sense? No, it does not. But yet, we are, I'm going to say, hell-bent on making sure it happens. All at the expense of who we are. Wait, I got to add this. Some of y'all are going to change the channel. You are not going to come back. But I got to tell you the truth. All at the expense of who God created us to be. Forget who we think we are. We slap God in the face when we take second and last place to our own well-being, to our own sense of joy, by making sure that instead of us being joyful, we're doing our best to make sure everybody else is happy. Girl, you know good and well that don't make sense. And you know what? I think it's time that we band together and we disband the myth that it is our responsibility to make other people happy. Because the truth be told, it is not. It's not. It's our responsibility to be the best version of who God created us to be in this moment. Setting boundaries is not being selfish. It's taking care of yourself and maintaining your healthy relationships. So this is February, aka the month of love. And you got to do like the song says, love the one you're with. That would be you. And you got to love the one you're with first. And so boundaries is really important and able to do that. When it comes to love, boundaries is about setting limits and communication expectations about behaviors and emotions in the relationships. It includes boundaries around intimacy, communication, and commitment, as well as, here's the boundary line, determining what is not acceptable behavior in a relationship. For example, when you set boundaries around the type of communications that's appropriate in a relationship, you will not allow people to call you out your name or use disrespectful language to you. As women, it is vital that we set clear, assertive boundaries around communication, open communication, honest communication, and maintain the self-care practices that says, not here, not today, not me, not ever. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I am letting you know that by saying it's not easy, that's an excuse. Because we can take the steps to prioritize our own needs. We can set aside time for self-care and self-reflection. Love demands boundaries. It demands that we respect each other's rights to be individual and not merely extensions of ourselves. Love without boundaries is just chaos. And some of us have green lights going in all directions. No boundaries. People are running over us, misusing us, abusing us, disrespecting us. And we're wondering why we don't have constant joy. Let's really dive into some examples of boundaries that we can set when it comes to love. Let's start with physical boundaries. Setting limits on physical affection, such as not engaging in sexual activities until certain milestones are reached in a relationship, is something that women, I don't know why, but for the most part, we're just so scared to do that. We come up with weak excuses like, well, what if he leaves me? What if he finds somebody else? Bye. They say bye, Felicia. Bye, Frederick. Listen, girl, listen. Don't allow yourself to be in a position where you are intimidated. Give away your cookies so that when your Boaz come along, all you have are crumbles for him. Girl, he deserves every layer of your cookie to be intact. Now, you know how the kids open up. You may do it as well. You open up the Oreo cookie and you lick all the cream out. And then what do they do with the shell? They throw it away, right? They don't want it anymore. Why? Because all the good stuff is in the inside. Listen, girl, all your good stuff is in the inside. And when you give that away, what do you expect people to do with the outside? Abuse you and misuse you, discard you, throw you away. Like the outside of an Oreo cookie. Set physical boundaries, limitations without shame, without guilt, without fear, but based on your core values of who you are. Okay, I could stay there all day long, but I'm not. I'm going to give you just a few more boundaries that is important for us as women to set. Okay, emotional boundaries. Deciding how much of your emotional energy to invest in a relationship, whether that's a friendship, a dating relationship, a coworker. It's important to decide how much of your emotional energy you're going to invest into that relationship and how much to reserve for you, for your self-care and for other important relationships. Sometimes we give so much at work, we go home depleted. Whew. Leave that alone, RJ. Leave that alone. No, for real, my sister, for real. You go home and all you can do is sit on the couch and go, right. You're not even emotionally present with the very people you love because you have poured out so much at work to other people that you don't have anything left at home. Sister, check it out. Listen, Linda. Protect your emotional energy. Set emotional boundaries. All right. I have so many I can go on with, but I'm just going to give you one more as an example of an important boundary that we should set as women. All right. I've given you two so far, physical boundary and emotional boundaries. Let me give you one more. Number 3 is going to be a boundary around your time. Prioritizing time, your time. We all get the same amount of time. It's just a matter of what we do with it that counts. So if you're one that you find yourself saying, oh, I don't have enough time. Oh, I wish I had more time. Maybe it's important for you to draw a line and set a boundary around your time. Prioritizing time for number 1, yourself, the people you love, your work, and other responsibilities. And you know how it is when we get into a relationship in the beginning. It can consume us. And so with this being the month of love, if you're in love, that's cool. That's good, boo. Yes, do you, boo. But don't allow all your time to be focused on that relationship, because you're in what we call, if this is the beginning of the relationship for you, you're in what we call the honeymoon stage, where everything is fine as wine, he's just your kind, is good to the last drop, all that. But soon the real you and the real him will show up, and then question marks will start floating around like And here you have spent all this time neglecting your responsibilities, other people. That's not healthy. Boundaries are so important. Set boundaries around your time, especially with this month being the month of love. If you are just newly in love, don't put all your time towards that relationship. Have a balance. Make yourself a priority. If not, you'll end up pouring out everything and trying to serve out of an empty cup. And listen, friend, you can't serve from an empty cup. All right, so I have given you 3. Here's 2 more for a bonus. I won't go deep into them, but how about boundaries around your communication, like when you're going to be on your phone, when you're going to put your phone away, boundaries around your mental health, protecting your mental well-being. I really should have dove into that. Come back, because we're going to definitely talk about that this month. Boundaries around your mental health, not being in toxic relationships, unhealthy relationships, not involving yourself in toxic behavior, setting those clear boundaries around being healthy and taking care of your well-being. Whew, that's super vital. I don't know why I didn't talk about that, but time won't allow me to talk about all of them, my friend. But I promise if you stick around, we got more where this came from. Through The Cure for Women at thecureforwomen.com, we also offer a wealth of resources for you to understand and apply boundaries, have balance, and belong. Because in the Cure Circle, my friend, you belong. So if you're not yet a Cure Circle queen, head on over to thecureforwomen.com. That's thecureforwomen.com, and become a VIP Cure Queen today. We're waiting for you, and there's definitely room at the table for you. So we've talked about the art of boundaries and protecting yourself in your relationships. I want to give you an example, a real live example of a client that I worked with. Let's call her Karen. Oh, wait, no. Not with everything that's going on with Karen today. Let's not call her Karen. Let's call her Constant Joy. Okay, Constant Joy. Yeah, let's call her Constant, aka Connie. All right, so Connie, who struggled with setting boundaries in a relationship, came to me, wanted to do some one-on-one coaching. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She came to me She was a people pleaser. She was always putting the needs of others before her own needs. She had this overwhelming sense of guilt just covering her like an umbrella. Whenever she would say no to anyone, she would spend weeks thinking about the fact that she said no to somebody. As a result, Constant Joy, aka Connie, found herself feeling drained, unhappy in her relationships, constantly feeling taken advantage of and not being respected. So one day she decided enough is enough. She realized that her lack of boundaries was causing her to suffer and was impacting her relationships and her health in such a negative way that she couldn't continue to live like this. She decided to seek help, and that's when she came to me, and that's where she began to learn how important self-care and setting boundaries was. As her professional growth coach, I began to be the guide with the ride and showing her the journey to freedom, the journey to winning. What we talked about was saying no to invitations she didn't want to attend, setting aside time for herself each week to do things she enjoyed. And she began to set boundaries and practice, I'm going to say that again, and practice those boundaries. She noticed a significant change in her relationships, and she found that other people were starting to respect her even more when she was clear and assertive. Her relationships improved as a result. Here's what Connie learned, and I want to encourage you to discover as you begin to dive into deeper the art of boundaries. Connie learned to communicate her boundaries more effectively by using I statements and expressing her needs in a calm and assertive manner. As she practiced those skills, not a whole bunch of skills, but those two skills, she was able to protect herself from harm while maintaining meaningful connections with others. Are you ready for a more meaningful life and meaningful connections? Because this is your winning season. It's time for you, like Connie, to take the journey to show you that the art of boundaries is about taking care of yourself and creating healthy relationships. It's time for you, like Connie, to learn that setting boundaries is not being selfish, but it's being respectful to yourself and demanding that others are respectful too. Like Connie, you can learn that setting boundaries leads to a happier, more joyful, and fulfilling life. It's time, my friend, to set clear limits, effective communication, and draw the line in the sand that says do not cross, and create relationships that are respectful, trustful, and meaningful. As we wrap it all up, I want you to walk away with knowing that setting boundaries is a sign of self-respect and self-care. Boundaries help create a sense of safety and security in your relationships, and you have the right to determine what is and what is not acceptable in your relationships. Now, you know how we do here on Time to Win. If this is your first time, we want to say welcome, but this is not the end. This is the beginning of the challenge that we are putting before you. You've heard the information that causes transformation, and now it's your turn. It's your turn to take action. It's your turn to admit where you are when it comes to boundaries in your relationships. How are you doing? Do you have a line? Do you have a red light? Or are you allowing people to run all over you? It's time to admit where you are. And once you admit where you are, for change to occur, you must be willing to adjust what's not working. And let me just pause for the cause and say this. Love doesn't hurt physically. You may have some moments that are painful, but love doesn't hurt physically. And if you are not in a relationship that's healthy and loving and kind, and you are being hurt physically, there is help available. And let me remind you, it is not your fault. Someone will believe you. and someone will love you the way you deserve to be loved. Don't listen to the lies. Help is available. If you are looking for resources, find a safe way to message us at timetowinpodcast.com for resources that are available to help you live the healthy life you desire and most of all deserve. Once we admit where we are, it's important to take massive action for change to occur. And that massive action sometimes requires being authentic and vulnerable. It requires being a part of a community to support you, to help you, get underneath you, and lift you up. So if you're doing this thing alone, I just want you to know you're not going to make it far. So I want to encourage you to get in community, find your tribe. And if you don't know where to start with the Cure Circle at thecureforwomen.com. That's the Cure Circle at thecureforwomen.com. We are waiting with open arms to love on you because you deserve to be loved on. All right, I told you we was going to dive in deep. And that's important to do. Stop with the fluff and stuff, the surface stuff. Let's heal so we can grow and win. And this is our winning season. Remember, my friend, you don't have to do this thing alone. The art of boundaries is surrounding yourself with a community of women who will help you understand the importance of creating a sense of safety and security. And we can't wait to meet you in the Cure Circle. Well, that brings us to the end of our time together so that we can open the door for a new chapter of getting to know each other even more. Join us again next week, but in the meantime, don't wait a week to connect. Make sure you're connected with us on social media. You can go to our website, timetowinpodcast.com, to learn more of how to connect with us and get involved in the many transforming experiences that we provide you to heal, grow, and belong. We'll see you again soon on the other side of fear, because that, my friend, is where life is happening. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Time to Win. I recognize that you appreciate the value provided in today's episode, and for your gratitude, I'm giving you a Time to Win VIP listener badge. So head on over to timetowinpodcast.com. That's timetowinpodcast.com and claim your badge and gain immediate VIP access to more of our next level resources and opportunities, including details on the huddle, a table for 10, the Cure Circle, and the Cure Retreat. Because you've enjoyed today's session, you can also express your gratitude by rating, reviewing, and returning next week with a friend. Oh, by the way, be sure to screenshot today's episode and share it in your Instagram and Facebook story or on your favorite social media platform. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week in the locker room of life, here on Time to Win. And remember, the best time to win is now.